Welcome to session 2 of an innumerable crowd around the throne. In this section, we're going to talk more about the popular theory. Popular theory being the theory that's purported by dispensational theology regarding the rapture, regarding so many different things. All the pre-tribulation rapture is a big one. John Nelson Darby brought that teaching to North America when he came in the late 1800s and early 1900s. And a person by the name of C.I. Scofield really picked that up and inculcated that into his footnotes that came out, first of all, in 1909 as the Scofield Reference Bible. And Scofield had a protege whose name was Lewis Sperry Chafer. Lewis Sperry Chafer went on to establish Dallas Theological Seminary, and I quoted, referenced a professor there by the name of Dwight Pentecost, who taught there at Dallas for 60 years. And he came out with a number of books, I think 21 altogether, but his most famous book was entitled Things to Come by Dwight Pentecost. And it goes through all of the theological conundrums of pre, past, mid, up, down, whatever. And he did a phenomenal job. I mean, the bibliography is just pages, and the footnotes and the verses. However, when he comes to what it seems to be his presentation, he's definitely presenting the dispensational perspective. So that was what I grew up with. That was what I was taught at the Bible College for 4 years, the Baptist Bible College. But as I mentioned in the opening session, no matter how I tried, I came to the conclusion, I honestly did, I got to be the dumbest person on the planet. None of this makes sense. It doesn't connect, it doesn't fit. And then until when I was around 26 years old, I met some dear brothers who began to reschool me in the truth of the scripture, and it was alive and it was witnessing my spirit, and it connected with no extra parts and no twisting to try and make it fit and all that kind of thing, which is just rife with dispensational theology as far as I'm concerned. And so we're going to continue on the popular theory here. And you'll have your notes on the side on the screen as you're watching me speak right now. So look with me. It starts out curiously. Only in Revelation chapter 7, verse 14, is the definite article the involved. This distinction should therefore prompt a further serious question. That question being, what tribulation then is the specifically referred to? If the two key passages that speak of the tribulation do not use the, one says great tribulation and the other says tribulation, but no mention of the definite article the, on which the emphasis that is being developed pivots on the word the, implying the great tribulation is the one that they just came out of, kind of thing. The 3.5 years of tribulation. And incidentally, the tribulation is only 3.5 years. It's not 7 years. You hear that all the time. 7-year tribulation. No. There was an arrangement made, a contract, a covenant made for 1 week. We see this in Daniel, which would be equivalent to 7 years. Then we see the enemies of our soul break that covenant halfway through. And so then for the next 42 months, there is tribulation like hasn't been, kind of thing. And they're told, if you're on the top of your house, don't go down and get your coat, just get out of Dodge. So this is curious. It's curious why the two verses that actually talk about the tribulation at the end of the age do not use the definite article. And this verse, which is post the tribulation, uses the definite article the. Let's notice, please notice the absence of the word the. in both specific scriptures denoting the occasion of this specific tribulation. Now let's read the verses. Matthew 24:21. For then there will be great tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. And then Mark chapter 13, verse 19. For in those days there will be tribulation. See, it's not the or even great in this verse. For in those days there will be tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the creation which God created until this time, nor ever shall be. Again, I'm beating this home because it's such a factor. Please observe that neither verse employs the definite article the. I'm going to tell you a little story here. 3 weeks before I graduated, my wife and I had our dean of students and theology teacher over for supper, he and his wife. And then my wife and his wife went out. It was either a wedding shower or a baby shower. I just don't remember exactly which one. Now, he's my prof, and I'm just a lowly Bible college graduate. And we're standing there at the sink together doing the dishes. I'm washing and he's drying. And he made a very, very, very blessed comment to me, which I will not say, but I will say the rest of what he said. He said, Dave, you're just a lowly Bible college graduate. And me, I'm writing my thesis for my PhD in theology. And then he made the comment. And then he said, you want to know what my topic is for my PhD? I said, oh, humor me. I don't have any idea. It could be a bazillion things, right? So he said, the subject of my PhD to get my doctorate in theology is the definite article the. I'm just from the farm. I had to think about that for a while. You're writing a book for your PhD on the word the. The is an important word. It's a definite word. When you say the, you're implying something very particular. So what is the in this whole thing about the tribulation? We're going to look at this in greater depth as we go through these things. So we realize here in Matthew 24:21 and Mark 13:19, there isn't the word used, the great tribulation. There's great tribulation and then just plain tribulation. I'm not quite sure what it is about all of us, include everybody. If we read something like that, the Great Tribulation, we just carry it out that must be that. Because what could be worse than that? Well, what if there is something worse than that? So, an innumerable crowd. In the next session, I'll get into some math on this. This will be maybe surprising to some of us. When this began to fall into place for me, I thought, and this just blows this theory right out of the water. And I'm trying to be kind in this matter, but I tell you, well, anyway, wait and see, all right? So I'll end this one here, and I'll see you in session 3.